want to start by asking, are there any good men out here? Are they? Are they out here? Are they out here, and where are they?
Oh, yes, yes,
We
yes,
always
yes.
have this conversation, Nikki, first,
Yes,
because we
it's
hear it
important.
so much. We hear it
Yes,
so
it's
much.
a very common concern that women have. And I'll first start by saying that all the concerns that I've heard women have are valid.
Mhm.
Mm.
So I'm never going to come from a standpoint of, girl, what you talking about?
Mhm.
No, they're valid. I hear their stories, I hear their experiences. And yeah, I can understand why women might have a experience that kind of proves to them that it's hard to get in contact with or connection with a man that is worth her time or is able to lead or
Mhm.
Mhm.
has a clear vision or you know what I mean. I get that, right? But the answer to your question is absolutely yes. There
Mm.
are good men out there. They are just unfortunately not showing up in the same way that they showed up when we were younger.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Wisdom in Bloom podcast with Denise. I am your co-host with Miss Kamisha, and we are a podcast that we talk about all things women over 40, over 50, over 60. We talk about everything from menopause to relationship, which we will be gearing toward today. We talk about anxiety. We talk about stress. We talk about loneliness, anything and everything, all for women as we hit that midlife magic age. We have an amazing relationship coach. Her name is Miss Nikki Anarado. She is the founder and she is the CEO of Prepare to Be Pursued. Miss Nikki Anarado is a highly sought after coach. She is a speaker talking about all things relationships. She is a thought leader who has dedicated over a decade to transforming the way of high functioning women who experience love in relationship. She is professional certified coach. She is an international coach, coaching from the Federation of International Coaching, and she is certified professional coach through Relationship Coaching Institute, bringing both mastery and empathy to her work. She, through her flagship and founder of her company, Prepare to Be Pursued program, she guides women to break free from fear-based dating, rewrite limiting patterns, and step into emotionally healthy, aligned relationships. Y'all know we need to hear all of those things, all of that. And she's going to help us talk about this without losing themselves in the process. Her program goes deeper than dating. It has been endorsed by therapists and mental health professionals for its transformative impact on women, emotional well-being, and their family dynamics. She has been featured on the Dr. Oz show in interviews with renowned life coach Tony Gaskin and the Mailroom Show. And her mission extends beyond individual coaching. She envisions a ripple effect that can strengthen families, increase dual parent households, and reshape communities, one empowered, self-aware woman at a time. Please, please,
Yay.
please welcome to the Wisdom and Bloom platform, Miss Nikki Anardo. Thank you, Miss Nikki.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful introduction. I have chills. I so appreciate that. I'm honored to be here. I really
You
am.
are so welcome. So welcome. We are honored. And the fact that you have chills is because you are in your purpose. And
Mm.
to hear those words out loud is almost like confirmation. It's like, come on, God, do
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
thing. And I feel every bit of that, every bit
Mhm.
of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
good for us
Thank
to
you.
take time and
Yes.
sit in our accomplishments. Sometimes
Woo.
we don't do that. We're so busy doing the work that we
Yeah.
don't look
Yeah.
back at, oh my gosh, I've been able to do this and do this and do this and accomplish this and do this, and you're in your purpose. So it's just
Yes.
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us and
Of
with our
course.
audience, because we have so many women
Mhm.
that need support, I think, out
Yes.
here in these dating streets.
Yes.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
really do need some support. So
Mhm.
I want to start by asking, are there any good men out here?
Oh,
Are they? Are they out here? Are they out here, and where are they?
Oh, yes, yes,
We
yes,
always
yes.
have this conversation, Nikki, first,
Yes,
because we
it's
hear it
important.
so much. We hear it
Yes,
so
it's a
much.
very common concern that women have. And I'll first start by saying that all the concerns that I've heard women have are valid.
Mhm.
Mm.
So I'm never going to come from a standpoint of, girl, what you talking about?
Mhm.
No, they're valid. I hear their stories, I hear their experiences. And yeah, I can understand why women might have an experience that kind of proves to them that it's, hard to get in contact with or connection with a man that is worth her time or
Mhm.
is able to lead or
Mhm.
has a clear vision, or you know what I mean. I get that, right? But the answer to your question is absolutely yes. There
Mm.
are good men out there. They are just unfortunately not showing up in the same way that they showed up when we were younger. Okay.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, and that's for a variety of different reasons. Times have changed so much.
Mhm.
Times has changed in the dating world. The dating landscape has shifted and changed and morphed so much in the last 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. It's almost like every 6 months there's a new thing.
Like it's a software almost, and it's just
And you're
updated.
right. There's
Software
all these
is always being
updates.
upgraded and updated.
Mhm.
Yeah, but some of them aren't good, right? Some
Yeah,
of them
some
are
of them got
viruses.
viruses.
Yes. And so to answer your question, yes, underneath it all, yes, there are quality men out there. It's just not the way that they used to be. Used
Mm.
to
Yeah.
used to be a case where you can just walk out the house and you never
Yeah.
know who you're gonna meet, and they'll be able to talk to you in a certain kind of way. You'll understand that they're interested from day one,
Yeah.
Mm.
and there'll be no confusion, and then it just naturally morphs into something more.
Yeah.
Nowadays people are just confused, and for a lot of different reasons it's very hard
Right.
to make connections on site. But yes, there are good men out there.
Good.
Where they are, this is what women don't want to hear, is because
Mm.
things have changed so much. And again, if we're talking about women over 40,
Yes.
at this point, you got to understand men are older too, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're a little bit tired and worn out. So they're really where they want to be, period. They're not
Mhm.
really actively seeking women.
Mm.
Come on now.
They're
So
not actively seeking women.
no,
The
no.
Wow.
single men over 40, over 50 that are
50. Yeah.
realizing that they are gonna die alone if they
They're
don't have
not
a
act
woman.
they're not
Yeah.
actively seeking women.
So they're thinking that they're just gonna bump into one. They're not gonna go look for
Well, well,
one.
it almost has to happen with the woman really understanding how to make something happen for herself.
Mhm.
And this doesn't mean that you have to approach or start leading a situation. It's just women have to be more intentional. And what I mean by men aren't actively seeking women, it's not it's some men understand that they want a wife. So I'm not sitting
Mhm.
here, saying that all single men want to stay single for the rest of their life and they want to be
Mhm.
bachelors. That's not the
Right.
truth. There
Mhm.
are many men that still feel the value of having a woman in their life and having a
Mhm.
wife, even at this stage of life. There are many men that
Right.
are interested in that. What I'm saying is the way they go about it is very different from what a woman might want them to do.
Mm.
Women want men to show up to these single events.
Mm.
Women want men to show up, where women show up.
Mm.
Why isn't he at brunch when I'm out there with my girlfriend?
Oh my gosh, I have a story about that. That is so true. Keep going, Miss Nikki. I'll tell you about this
Yeah,
story. But just
yeah.
because of the fact that you said about brunch, I literally have a story about that, about one of the men that we just interviewed that had a friend, a girl that he was interested in, and all she wanted to do was go to
Go to
brunch.
brunch.
Brunch, and he's like, but I don't go to brunch. That's not what men do. And like they could not make a connection, and they were both wonderful people. But
Yeah, yeah. It's
I'm
a
sorry.
lot of no, it's okay. You're just, kind of solidifying what is really happening out here. It's
Mhm.
I'm only thing that I could ever talk about is what is really happening. You know, I'm not making it up. I'm not
Right.
really big on my personal opinion. You won't really hear me talk about my personal opinion because it doesn't matter. You know, what matters is what's going on out there.
What's going on?
What actually is happening.
What's going on out there is women are over here and men are all the way over here. You know, and nobody really knows how to join together. And so I'm a big proponent of every woman figuring that out for herself. Stop worrying about what your girlfriends are doing or not doing. Okay. They're not all going to be in the bed with you when you later with your husband. So it don't matter.
We hope not anyway.
Huh?
We hope not anyway.
Right. Well, you know, that's a whole.
Unless that's what they're looking for, but that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different topic. But you do hit on something there, Nikki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I do feel that some women are just, they want a partner. And we're just talking about, you know, women in heterosexual relationships.
Yeah, heterosexual,
right
absolutely,
now.
100%.
And so they want a man, but I don't know that they realize that they need to get themselves ready, right? To get out here and present themselves as a woman who is ready for a real serious monogamous relationship. It's almost like they just think they just show up or they just out here and like, you know, the men should be, I don't know, finding them, knocking down their doors and just taking them as they are and all these kinds of things. But I feel that's not true. I feel that there is, I mean, let's say you have a goal of losing weight, right? Like you have a goal of losing weight. Then maybe you're going to put some steps in place, right? Maybe you might change your diet. Maybe you might join the gym, you know, maybe you might start walking, right? You're not just going to sit home and be like, oh, well, I'm just going to and eat the same things and do all the same things.
Right.
Say, oh, yeah, the pounds are just going to start falling off. I feel like it's similar to dating, right? Especially if you are intentional, as you said, like intentionally dating. Like you need to prepare yourself. Don't you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, 100%. But there are reasons why it's hard to kind of see yourself that way. As you know, if I'm speaking on behalf of the single women that might be like, why isn't this working for me? Why I'm on these apps, I look good, you know, why isn't this working for me? Sometimes it's very difficult to understand what exactly you do need to do to prepare. A lot of my clients have done therapy for several years. They've done all the quote unquote things that you're supposed to do. And it ends up just being a whole lot of, how do I want to say it? A whole lot of rhetoric within the single women community where everybody is, you know, kind of sharing thoughts amongst each other rather than really understanding that, okay, you talked about losing weight, and I totally agree with what you're saying. The problem with that analogy is we all kind of know, like the information is out as far as how to lose weight.
Right. If you don't know, it's because you are just not taking advantage of the information.
Really not serious about it. Exactly.
Yeah.
When it comes to dating and romance, there's so many variables that go into that can make somebody have a hard time in connecting with another person. Because with losing weight is you against you. You know what I'm saying? It's just
that's
you.
a good point.
Right. You know, when you connecting to someone else, it is the vulnerability of all of that is you have no control over the other person.
Right.
So it's knowing how to have those emotional, you know, agility. You know, you need to understand that stuff. It's so many levels to this, steps to this. And if we don't have that guidance, if we didn't get it from our moms or grandma, nobody just kind of set us down and told us step by step, this is what you can expect, because times are different now.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, is times are really, really different. Things were easier 20 years ago.
Yes, yes.
All right. Things were clearer 20 years ago. We didn't have social media with thousands of millions of opinions every single day you're looking at.
Yeah.
So you can't even keep a solid opinion, you know, for more than 30 minutes because there's another opinion that you're like, okay, maybe I don't believe that. And it's impossible to make connections if you don't know what you believe.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know what you're thinking, you don't know what's right, you don't know what's wrong. And so to answer your question, absolutely preparation is necessary, particularly in today's times.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my
What
heart goes out to any woman that's trying to date now that hasn't dated in a while, and she's just not getting good results. My heart goes out because it's terrible out there. The stories I hear is terrible.
I think that's where you kind of tapped into what I was going to ask you too about the fear of going out there over 50 years old, and you're getting yourself back out there again to start
Yeah.
dating or to open yourself up for relationships.
Mm-hmm.
How would you recommend that they overcome the fear of starting over, whether they've come out of a divorce or they have been a caretaker for years and now they're just starting to get into the dating world, or maybe their partner passed away some years ago and now they're trying to get themselves back out there. Dating is so different. I see my friends and my granddaughters and my daughters go through it. It scares me. Like, my God, I don't know if I could have did it, if I
Yeah.
was single, if it was like this back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's exactly like most of my clients, they come in after having that break from
Mhm.
having to meet someone new, right? So it's been so many years. Like,
Mhm.
one other thing is that they've raised their kids and their kids are now out of the house, so they're
Yeah.
new empty nesters. It's like, okay, what I do in my life. So the fear is real, and sometimes it's even palpable. Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? I can physically see it
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
women that I work with
Yeah.
at times. So, how we work through the fear is to first acknowledge what the fear actually is.
Hmm.
Sometimes, you know, in helping them name it
Hmm. Hmm.
and isolate it,
Hmm.
because there are different types of fears of being abused, infidelity, fear of being alone, fear
Yeah.
of rejection. So there's some major fears that we look at first,
Hmm.
and we figure out what is applicable for each woman. Every woman's different.
Hmm.
And then we begin to look at their connection killers, which are mindsets. Okay,
Yeah.
these are mindsets that there are five
They're
major connection.
connection killers.
Connection
Yeah,
killers.
so
Yeah.
I've identified five.
Hmm.
And if a woman has any of these, you don't want to date until you overcome these mindsets. And there's
Oh, wow.
ways that we work to quickly get women past these mindsets, because it's all about giving yourself evidence of the contrary.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
have to
Hmm.
have hardcore evidence that what you've been telling yourself for years is not true.
Right.
Wow.
And then we look at defense mechanisms. Okay, so we look at the destructive behaviors
Hmm.
that are a result of what you fear or what you think, and those specific behaviors. It's an immediate turnoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't even get a second date. You can't get a first date. You can't. It just won't work.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. When in single women communities, it's really hard to see how your girlfriend is showing up on these dates, on the phone with these men,
Yeah.
because she's a sweetie pie to you and everything's all good with you. But that's different.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
low. That's low risk. She's
Hmm.
not triggered.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So, when she go off to these dates or go off talking to these guys, she might not even realize that she's triggered and she's acting out and is contributing to things not working.
That's right.
And men have the same type of cycle that they might be grappling with too.
Hmm.
So we help women kind of work through all of those things. First, identify what those are, because they're there anyway. If she
Hmm.
chooses not to identify them, they're there anyway.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
these are just things that are just proven to get in the way. And it's good to just clear out the barriers that get in the way of you getting connection. So That's the approach.
Let me ask you a question. You said something about connection killers. Give us a couple of examples. What are connection?
Yeah. So as I define connection killers, I'll define it for you first. They're mindsets that if they don't get resolved, if you don't overcome them, they're going to be apparent and they're going to show up, and even they'll kill the connection or it'll keep it from thriving. Okay. So if you heard of your girlfriends talking about, man, this thing is not progressing. Yeah. It's like we're in the same stage for 6 months, 2 years. Okay. So these are examples of that. So there are 5 of them, but I'll give you a couple. Difficulty trusting. Okay. That's a real big one. It's like one of the major ones. Difficulty trusting. And that shows up as if a woman is just kind of programmed to defend herself and protect herself more so than expressing herself.
Wow.
Okay, so that's how you'll know if you know that in conflict or in a space of uncertainty, you are in defense mode. You're just rather than
you're just paralyzed.
Rather than your capability to communicate effectively what your needs are. So difficulty trusting. Also, one of the most common one is I'll choose this one. We're the men, basically.
Talk about that one. Talk about it.
Yes, I'll talk about this a bit. So it's true. I want everyone to say these connection killers can be your real experience. I'm not here to invalidate any woman's experience. I'm not coming from that angle. So it's real. I know it. Like I work with women that live in like rural areas, at times, and there really aren't. It can feel that way. So that's kind of what I meant earlier about being more intentional. I know where the men are. I just know. So I don't care what city you are in. Okay, I just don't care. I am skilled at understanding where, because all you need is one.
Right.
You don't need, if I'm working with one woman, I just need you to go where you're likely going to find somebody that makes sense for you. So yeah, it's that. It's mostly women that really do have that experience. But on the flip side, I've worked also obviously with women in a big city, and they just feel like, oh, there's no men, all the great men are gone. And that kind of hints towards what we also talked about earlier. Where a woman might have that feeling because she isn't being intentional. So you're kind of like dealing with men that just casually come by your social media or casually come by on your dating app. You're really not putting the work in. So a woman's level of effort in this area of life, which is one of the most important decisions you're going to make in your life, your effort needs to match the level of value you assign to your heart. So if you don't care, if you get your heart broken and deceived and all this, then go out there all willy-nilly. You're going to get what I call low-hanging fruit. Because there's low-hanging fruit kind of energy out there. It really is. And men are going to put in low energy, low effort if you're putting in low effort. But when I say that, women don't even know what I mean, because it's just like, what you mean more effort? What do you mean?
Wow.
They feel like, I guess they're on
they feel like they're doing everything they're supposed to do.
They're like, I'm on the sites, I'm open to dating and meeting. But I mean, you bring up a good point about the, mindset, and just even saying out loud, where are the good men? There's no good men out here. That is not going to attract the person that you are looking for. If you already are now looking at there's nobody, there's such a limited number, and even the ones that are out here are not good, and you can't trust them, and they married, and they do this, that, and the third, because you do have to actually go into it looking at it as though there are men out here. There are good men. Like we had an interview with two men over 50 a couple of weeks ago, and their challenge is they're having challenges finding the women that they're looking for, so they're out here and they're everywhere. They're like, we're out here. We at the grocery store, we at the car wash, we at all the places. We are interested in a real relationship. We are possibly interested in a marriage, So it's not as though they're not out here, and then they are having some of the challenges on their side with some of the the women that they are meeting. But you're absolutely right. I think that is an important mindset to shift, that there are no, good people out here for you.
And it takes time.
It does.
It takes time, because that's probably a mindset that's been reinforced from their personal experiences, from their girlfriend circle, and everything else. So women should give themselves grace. Like it's like
it comes from somewhere, right?
It comes from somewhere, So it's real, but it's like, what do you want to do about it? Because seeing one. Okay, so let me tell you something. What happens with women that have that mindset? Let me tell you the first thing they come to me and say. I had one woman say to me, and she was just like, "Oh, there's no men, especially in the DMV. I get that complaint all the time." And so, I'm on the phone with her, kind of exploring how to move forward, and she's just like, "Oh, you want me to actually do some work? I thought you was just gonna come up with a bag of men. That you were just going for
a bag of men."
And I'm a matchmaker, right? But let me tell you a few things about that.
A bag of them.
A bag of them. Like, just deliver them, and I don't have to do nothing different. Take me as I am.
Because to her, that's the problem. It's not me.
Yes.
It's that there's no men out there, and I need you to introduce me to these men, because once I meet them and they see how fantastic and wonderful and beautiful and successful and all the things I am, then I'll be able to find that match.
They want you to DoorDash them a man.
Right. But if the dating apps couldn't do that, and there's billions of dollars going to them, you know what I'm saying, to figure it out, they can't do it, then I mean, golly. So let me tell you what my but let me just tell you what my rebuttal to that now is, after doing more specific work on each of these connection killers. So with that one, if it's just like, I just need the men, they can just tell me what the men are.
Yeah,
I have done that. I was like, look, I'm gonna give these women what they want now. And as soon as my clients get a list of places to go where the men will be, it's not going to be a question that they're going to be there or not. I am very good at what I do. Okay. And they see this list, and I'm watching them as they're looking at it, and they look like they're about to pass out. Because they know there's going to be men there.
Yeah.
Right.
So the same thing they'd be complaining about, once it's offered to them, and then guess what? Between that session that they had the places to go and the next session, all of a sudden life gets so busy that they don't need, I couldn't go to the events. You know what I mean? So is it really about not knowing where the men are, or is there some fears there, some insecurities there? Do you know what to say? Do you know how to work a room? Are you confident in your own skin? You know, those type of things are important to ask.
Yes. There are fears that women need to make sure they are confronting. And I guess that goes back to the preparation, right? The preparation of actually being ready to seriously date someone. And I don't know that many women think that there is work that they need to do, because lots of times, at least my experience has been, the women are always putting it on the men. You know, the men are the ones with the issues, the men are the ones with the challenges, the men are the ones that can't communicate, the men are the ones that need a better job, the men are the ones, you know. And I'm thinking, is it really always them? You know, there's nothing that you are doing here.
It can't be. Let me tell you something. What I've seen with that is, we have to pivot. The same way we expect men to pivot and accept us with our brilliance and our boldness now, and doing everything for ourselves and everything. The same way we want men to pivot, we have to pivot. So we have to pivot to their adjusting to something that has not been true in all of the hundreds of thousands of years that we've been humans, or whatever it is. So, these are shifts in our society that are going to take time for everybody to understand. And there just need to be more compassion. We're not doing ourselves any favors by being at odds, and not being patient and compassionate to what men have to do to adjust. It's a lot of adjusting that men are still learning how to do. So, and they don't know you. You know what I mean? I'm not look, I don't even consider myself a relationship expert.
Yeah.
I really don't, because it's mostly, I mostly like to work with women when they're not in a relationship, no options in sight, because I want her to just focus on her. Okay. Even if they have like placeholders or situationships kind of going on or whatever, that's fine. We can work together. But I'm talking about, it's been a while since they've had a mutually committed relationship.
Yeah.
So, in that space, a man doesn't really know you like that. If he's meeting you initially, he doesn't owe you the level of commitment that a woman might want on site. Like, women want
on site, a date one.
I'm telling you, these women
commitment.
They want commitment. Women they cannot handle the idea of a man dating someone else. Like, day one, they just can't deal with it.
Really?
Yeah,
So
a lot of
they
times.
are saying, okay, so they are putting themselves out there, and
Yeah.
they are not dating multiple men. They're just dating
Right.
one man and saying,
One
okay,
man.
I'm dating you. You only need to be dating me.
Yeah.
And this is the way it should go because I say that's the way it should go.
That's the way she's thinking in her head. She dare not say anything because I think she knows that that's not really, realistic.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just sharing with you what mostly happens, because if a woman doesn't have the tools and the know-how of how to have multiple options, then when she gets one, she doesn't know how to have more than one. She doesn't even know to do that. There's spiritual reasons why she might think there's something wrong with her if she has more than one man interested in her. Although Ruth had multiple options and Boaz thanked her for that.
Yeah.
He thanked her. You could have had this. You could have gone here. You could have gone. So thank you for choosing me.
Yeah.
Like, that's the energy every woman should be on.
Yeah. But that brings me back, Kamisha, to the episode we had with the males. They want a woman that chooses them. Because remember, he said men chase, women choose.
There you go.
And
please say it.
Yeah, that's what one of the men said.
Beaver wasn't one of the men saying they want women that choose them. And you touched on this too, Nikki. They also said they want a woman that takes care of herself.
Yeah.
She's already taking care of the world. She's taking care of her kids. She's taking care of the home.
Yeah.
They want a woman who steps back purposefully and intentionally takes care of themselves.
Yeah, and women don't do that. A lot of women don't do that. There's so much shame to put yourself first. So especially if a woman's been single for a while, for the reasons that we talked about earlier, caretaker, mother, this, that, and the other. So what you're saying is spot on. That's what I've been hearing from men for ages. And it actually just really makes sense, because look, think about it. If a woman is worn out, drugged out, just drained all the daggone time, what type of situation is he going to be entertaining with her?
Or if they don't have time. You have a lot of these women too that, they've got the job, they volunteering at the church, they take care of their grandkids on weekend. You know what I mean? It's like, well, when do you even have time to date anybody?
Yeah.
When do you even have the time? Are you prioritizing this? You know what I mean?
So that's an important part. And that's the reason why I just love what I do for that reason as well. Because most of my women that are in I call them allure ladies. So they're in. Okay, so one thing that helps them begin to prioritize this area of their life is because of the process and the program. It encourages for it to work. It encourages them to set aside a few hours a week. An hour, 2 hours a week for themselves. So they start to learn by default, to put that time away for them, and before they know it, they're like, oh, I can make time for myself. Oh, I didn't even realize that's all I was doing. And so eventually a man will take the space that she was pouring into herself through the program. A man can take that space,
And they feel it's important. I'm telling you, we've gotten comments from men on our YouTube channel, comments and them type in the comments that the women are burnt out, angry, and overweight, and they still want a man to chase them.
Wow.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
And
I must say something to that. I'm gonna say something to that because this is why I've slowed down on in-person events. I think I shared that with you guys the first time we talked. In-person events are very, very, very tough for me for the reason of what you're just saying, because a lot of that is absolutely true from my experience. I'm not a man, okay? I'm not trying to date nobody's woman, okay? No woman, no way. When I have my events, though, the atmosphere, the content, working on yourself, looking at these fears and stuff like that, it triggers women. So I'm getting probably the same energy that these men are getting on these dates, which is frustration, confusion, argumentative, combating, just want to do the opposite of what is being shared. That's what happens when I expose myself to the public, people that I haven't vetted, women I haven't vetted. So it's very true what is being shared. It's not every woman, obviously, but I'm sharing that for women to become more self-aware. And this type of being is perpetuated in our single women community. It's almost like something that other women respect. To be kind of nasty and short-tempered and things like that. I mean, it's just not cute.
Really? So for women to be more like lean more masculine than like feminine, really?
It's a thing where I've just as an observer, because it's something I have to combat in my client circles.
Yeah,
I have to combat it because once that energy is introduced, it can hamper a woman's development. The point that I'm making is women feel like they have to do that to dominate other women, or dominate in the workplace or whatever it is. And so if they want to feel like, the big dog, in a social circle, they'll have some of that energy. But my whole thing is that ain't going to work with a man. It's just not. It's going to be the biggest turnoff. And he could stay around, but I'm sorry, women, it's the fastest way to be abused and taken advantage of and used. It's the fastest way, because these men, they see it a mile away what you're doing, and that it will be a difficult road with you if they tried to be serious. They know that already. So instead, they're just going to take whatever they can get. And a lot of times they'll do that for years with you, and you thinking that you were working towards something the whole time. He's just like, I'm never going to be with this one.
Right. She is not marriage material.
What a powerful confirmation.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, they can even end up married. That's the crazy, scary part. I mean, they can get married to these men that are using them.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? And abusing them. They can get married.
That is true.
Because they think it's love, but the man,
there you go.
The man knows that he is marrying someone that he can always take from.
There you go.
Yeah. No matter what they do, I can always come back here and
it's worth it.
Whatever.
It's worth it to him.
It's worth it to them because they are getting value. Asset out of it. She's not getting value, but she thinks she is, because she thinks every time he come back is love. But every time he come back, he's just coming back to get more.
There you go.
That is that they are dominantly given.
Well, I mean, I think it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning, Nikki, about understanding what your beliefs are, understanding what your values are, and then also what it is that you want, and not settling. Because I do think there are some women who might not be interested. They're not interested in being used. They're not interested in just having some man, come and go, or not really. Right. But maybe all they really want is just to have somebody. Right? Like they just want to have somebody.
And that's being driven by the fear of being alone.
Yeah.
Ooh. So how can someone break those patterns? How do they break those patterns so they can create a healthier relationship moving forward? Now they know that they've done this the whole time in every relationship. And now they're like, it's insane for me to continue to do this because I'm getting the same results. So how do I break that pattern? How do I break that curse so I can move forward to a healthier, more sustainable relationship?
So first, I want to, if any woman is listening to this and can relate to anything that we've talked about today, first, I want to commend you for sticking around, because these are tough topics. I'm telling you, I've done this for, over 10 years, and I've seen this repeatedly, where some of these things are touched on and women self-destruct. They just can't take it. And they're running in the opposite direction. They curl up the girlfriend and they just keep complaining, So, for you to stick around this long, that means that you want some real solutions. Okay.
Wow.
And and I want to commend you for that. I always want to celebrate women for looking at this hard stuff. So the first thing, as we shared about before, is the acknowledgement and the willingness to see things quickly about oneself. Therapy does that only to the degree that you allow it.
Right.
That's the reason why sometimes women can be in therapy for many, 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 many years and not really clearly get a sense of how they are appearing to other people. That's a whole nother process. All right. So therapy is good for assessing your past, for understanding where those original fears came from and everything like that, and getting deep into trauma of things. And it can be kind of seen as equated to, as far as coaching versus therapy. I get that question a whole lot. It's important to know the difference so that women can get the real support that they need. Okay. So if you think about a professional athlete, okay, basketball team, okay, there's a coach, and then there's a physical therapy person if someone gets wounded. So let's say somebody got knocked down or whatever, foul, they're on the ground. It's like, whoa, what happened? And so they get a quick assessment. The coach looks them over. It's like, dang, you might need this, that, and the other. So they might need a therapist, physical therapist. They might need that, similar to a regular psychologist, therapist, clinical therapist, okay? Or they might need surgery. They might need an actual doctor. So that's psychiatry. They might need meds. You know what I'm saying? It might be less severe as far as the emotional pain relative to the physical pain.
Right.
If they get on to the coach and they're like, oh, I'm busted up a little bit, and the coach look them over and they're like, wait a minute, let me just sit down let me get my head right. And next quarter, they're back in the game. You see what I'm saying? That they just needed a coach to put them in a way where it's like, all right,
back in the right mindset.
Back in the right mindset and position them accordingly. There you go, so that everybody wins. So a coach is about getting the results that you want at the end goal. Okay. But the role of therapy is to just get you well enough
so you can even go to a coach.
There you go. That's it. And so a lot of my clients, they're functioning. It's not like they're not functioning or anything. You're functioning. So if you're functioning, you are well enough to have a coach. You might still be in therapy. A lot of my clients, they'll work with me. Some things might come up and they're triggered, and they might think they need therapy in addition to the coaching. So the reason why I'm sharing that is to work through some of these fears might require that,
Therapist.
But the coach, what we do is we speed up the process. And we're results based. So we're just really all about, as far as how women can overcome the cycle. You have to identify it. We call it the destructive dating cycle. Okay. All right. So the destructive dating, that's understanding your fears on a deep level, understanding your mindset, the way that you mentally react to your fears, and then how you behave in your behaviors, how you react to your fears. Okay. So we understand that on a deep level, and we don't get all deep in your past and stuff. We might touch on it a little bit, but that's what your therapist is for. If you want to details of your past and stuff, okay? But sometimes that's not necessary. Sometimes we can just snap you right out of that stuff and it gives you some results. So if a woman wants to move forward, that's what coaching is really about. But overcoming that destructive dating cycle is vital because it's going to keep happening, and replace those things with more constructive responses. So each of those connection killers, for instance, replace those with more constructive thoughts. This is not affirmations. No. Okay. This is deeper than affirmations. It's got to be a true core belief switch. All right. And then obviously changing your behavior responses would trigger.
Yeah.
And I don't know, have you all ever heard of a scenario where a woman, after maybe not dating for a while, starts to date, and then she's just like, oh my God, I thought I was healed from this. Have you ever heard something like that? Or I didn't expect to feel that way. Oh my God.
Yes.
You've heard, you felt that, you heard that from your girlfriends before? It's very common. Like women have found their peace while single, which is a beautiful thing. I'm not opposed to women being single. Okay. It's lovely. All right. But you find your peace while single and you assume that you healed
Yes.
stuff.
No, that absolutely has happened. When you said that, that brought to mind one example of a girlfriend I have who was married and her husband cheated on her. I don't know, at least once, let's just say he cheated on her. So they separated or got divorced based on infidelity. So then she was dating another person some years later. And he wasn't always communicating, and she was thinking, oh, he's seeing somebody else. I know he's seeing somebody else. And I'm like, how do you know that? What makes you think that? Oh, because he's not returning my calls. Oh, because I don't see him as much as I used to. Oh, because I say, yeah, but did he say he was going to be seeing someone else? Didn't you all say you were going to be monogamous, just seeing each other? And really it got to more questions of, are you putting on this person what happened in your past your marriage, when your husband was seeing somebody else, and now all of a sudden you're looking at this man in the same way. And it actually did take her like some time to be like, oh, well, you're right. I didn't realize that that was kind of what was happening, but you're right. That was what she was doing. She was putting on, these same fears onto this person, and then it was showing in her behaviors. And then she's like incessantly calling and incessantly like sending messages, and and now you're turning the man off because you're like, what is going on? I already told you I'm not going to be available for this, or I'm going to be working out of town for that, or what have you. And now she's wondering why he's not responding. I'm like, you said you just sent the man 10 texts in 1 hour. Like, I don't even understand. I'm not responding. It's like you need to work on what you think, like you said, because you're out of that relationship and you have, you're not there in that place, right? You're thinking, oh, I've already moved on. That was what he did to me, and that's how he was, and it has really no impact now on me and how I see other men. But it does. It does. It did have an impact. It really did have an impact. Yeah.
And what you're saying is very, very, very common. And so just to kind of quickly map out that example, destructive dating cycle, her original fear was infidelity because of what she dealt with her husband. The mindset is difficulty trusting. And then the behavior is accusatory. That's the defense mechanism. And she's just doing the most. And then it's acting out, and it turns out to be a negative relationship experience. With these acting out episodes, it's very hard to keep something together because a man can just be like, all right, I'm done.
Right.
Because you're just dating. You're not like, it's not that serious. You're not engaged.
Right. They don't need all the patience in the world to be dating you. And they're ready to move on, kind of quickly.
Yeah. Especially really quality men. They're not going to stick around long for that.
So, Miss Nikki, as we are gearing toward to wrap this up, first of all, thank you so very much. This has been so enlightening. Again, talking to you, I've gotten paid some notes here, and it's crazy. And I've been married for 35 years, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, let me make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to keep the spice.
Yes, we have married clients too. That's spice now.
You have a free challenge.
Yes,
that you talked about called the Make Room for Boaz. It's a 5-day challenge. And I'm going to have that on our show notes, but I would love for you to talk a little bit about that challenge and how did you come up with it, and what do you see that doing for women who would take that challenge?
Oh, good questions. So yes, the Make Room for Boaz 5-day challenge, the intent of it is to quickly get women excited about the prospect of dating again. So particularly if it's been a while or you stuck your toe out there and didn't like what you got, let's quickly shift some stuff around, and so what you'll get is day one, we're going to be talking about making love a priority. So that's come up a little bit in this conversation. It's extremely important. You got to put yourself first. It starts with self-love. And like you just confirmed what these men are saying is the same thing I know to be true. Like, what's attractive is a woman that takes care of herself. If you don't have time to take care of yourself, you don't seem calm, cool, and collected in the midst of men, then why would they take that on? You got to be mindful of that, Day two, we focus on. Take that on? I'm just saying, what's the incentive for them to do that?
I mean, I think that is just such a basic statement, but it's so powerful. Like, you need to be able to handle yourself with these men as well, right?
Yeah, accordingly.
Are you able to even handle yourself when you meet these men?
Yeah. It's hard to think outside of what you are feeling and what you want when for so long you've lived in survival mode, and many women have. Even if they're successful, even if their money isn't the issue, they're stressed because of their work. They're stressed because of the kids. They're stressed about social expectations and all these kind of things. So it's sometimes just very hard, just psychologically, to think outside of your own needs. So this challenge will help you do that. So in day two, we talk about the connection killers in detail. We talk about the defense mechanisms and everything like that, all in detail. So if anybody's curious to learn more about that, you'll get it in day two. Days 3 and 4, we look at the book of Ruth line by line, and there's so many secrets in there. We already unlocked one of them today. One of the myths we overcame today was that Ruth did not date one person, at a time or whatever it is. She wasn't expected to just be focused on one. That, because that's unfortunately in the Christian community, you just date one at a time, or you're looking fast.
Seen as a certain way, right?
And they don't teach Ruth like that. So I'm not trying to get off, but I've grown up my whole life in the church, and they do not teach Ruth like that. Your perspective of looking at Ruth is that Ruth dated several men several times. She was never married, so she had options and the opportunity to date, men. I mean, we go into a store and we try on 17 different pairs of shoes before that one. Ruth was never expected to not date these several men. Actually expected to. And in the end, when she decided to choose, because dating is collecting data.
It's data. And they had the whole barley season to collect data on each other.
And at the end, he says, "Thank you for choosing me. I see that you had your choice of this, that, and the other.
100%.
But you chose me." So, but we were taught, that passage is taught that Ruth was a whore. Come on now.
That's right. And women, they don't want to be seen like that.
They don't want to be seen like that.
They don't want to be seen like that. They do not want to be. But you have,
especially don't want to be seen as an old hoe, because
and Ruth wasn't young. Ruth was not
I know.
Young. Exactly. And she wasn't particularly beautiful. I think it would have said that she was particularly beautiful. She was. So that debunks another myth that looks is what will get and keep a man. And if that was the case, all married women would be models and all models would be married. So that ain't true. Okay?
Tell them.
It ain't true. So, I mean, come on now. So a lot of women are just waiting until they lose the weight. They're waiting until they look a certain kind of way before they feel like they're worthy of being loved by a man. And it's just not true. And so there are other myths we debunk in those 2 days. And then we wrap everything up with day 5. By understanding how to break these barriers, to your question earlier about how do we overcome these things? How do we think differently? How do we apply some of this stuff? So just real practical stuff. I think the book of Ruth was extremely practical. I mean, it's just 4 chapters, but you read it and it's just like, wow, no angel descended from above, to tell her that was her husband. Like, it was really practical.
It was the data. She collected the data. And spiritual intervention.
It wasn't God didn't come down from his mount on high to say,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's it. And understanding the traditions of the time, understanding what is likely going to get his attention and what won't. And Naomi knew, saying what was up. So she helped the sister out a little bit. So it's just making those things relevant to today. So those day 3 and 4 would absolutely do that. Women will have a whole new way to look at women.
I think that is amazing. I mean, that sounds like something that women need, because they need to gain more confidence in this dating world, right? And listening to Ruth's experiences and understanding, what it is that they need to be doing for themselves can help them get that confidence up so that they can be prepared.
And excited about dating, because dating
and excited.
Fun.
It's supposed to be a good time, right?
And just think probably the same challenges. I mean, I know we're in a different environment socially with technology and everything. But at the ground level, the same challenges Ruth had, women are having today.
100%.
Which is why she was saying, okay, wait, I need to do more than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Get a better insight of who I want to be with.
Right. Right.
Men do it all the time.
Yes.
100%. They do it all the time.
Yeah. And they're wondering why we haven't done it. They're wondering it because they can see within one conversation with a woman. And that's another thing we work through in the program. You need to understand how quickly these men are making assessments about you. You can't just expect a man to just take you as you are, because he's immediately judging where you are in here immediately. And
especially at our age.
Well, yeah, because they themselves as men have a lot more experience too, because they're older and more mature.
Yeah.
So it's just like what's going on with you in one conversation, they can tell. And then they'll treat you accordingly. So it's worth the work. It's worth figuring this stuff out if you value your heart, for real.
Yeah. Right. You value your heart. It's worth figuring it out.
And I think at this age, it's more work, right? Because you are older and you have had a lot of experiences and you have had a lot of maybe not even a lot of relationships. Maybe you only have one, right? But whatever happened in that relationship has impacted you for a long time, right? And there can be a lot of things to like really unpack there about what you think about relationships, how you see yourself in relationships, how you're supposed to act in relationships, how other people, how the man's supposed to act in a relationship, right? And really make time to adjust to what this new world looks like for you and another person, because sometimes you hear women that are just not interested in making any changes, and that is not helpful to them. That is not going to get you what you're looking for, because if that was the case, you would have found somebody as you are, right?
I always
say you haven't been able to do that.
The proof is in the pursuit.
It's in the
so if a woman is ever coming to me, how do I know that I'm ready? I don't want to be the judge of whether or not you're ready yet. I don't want to be the judge. If you're trying and no one's pursuing you, you have your answer. You need preparation. Okay.
You need to go back and prep some more.
If there is no pursuer, if you're looking back and ain't nobody chasing you, you can stop running.
You already know your answer.
You ain't gonna get caught.
I'm just saying, I don't want no smoke from nobody. Nobody come back looking for me, because golly, I don't make the rules.
The proof is in the pursuit. They're not pursuing you. You got some work to do.
All good.
Oh wow, this has been great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We probably could go on for another hour or two, because we's unpacking some stuff. But this 5-day challenge with Boaz, y'all better go and take that. I've been married 35 years. I'm about to do this challenge.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun in it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. My core client age range usually is mid-30s to mid-50s. My youngest client was 22. My oldest client to get married was 69. So she's 71 now. So this challenge gently helps women assess where they are. very, very gently. It's not combative. It's not like, girl, you don't got your stuff together. It's not like that at all. That ain't helping nobody. You know what I mean? It's very gentle, and it's done in a way where women can feel excited again about the prospects and possibilities. Because if you're not excited, you're not going to be motivated to change anything, because change is hard for anybody. I know it is for me whenever I'm trying to change.
And the older you get, the harder change for you to pursue even any type of change. That's why you hear, I rarely ever, as I think about it here, I don't know if I've ever heard a man say, well, I'm not changing. They're going to have to take me as I am. But I hear women say it constantly.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I even think that at this age, some men are more open to women showing them new things, teaching them new things, them trying different experiences and learning more about life and themselves, right? Because I think as younger men, they're so busy working and grinding and making money and all this kind of stuff that once they get older, now they're more relaxed. Now they are looking, for ease as well in their life, and they are more open to change and to learning is what I've learned from men as well. Because I feel like they I'm not a psychologist or, any of those things, but I feel that when women get out of a relationship that didn't work, they internalize it a little bit more than men do. Whereas men, they might be able to say, okay, yes, I should have done this, or I could have done it this way, or whatever. But then they take that in their next relationship
and move on to the next one.
Right.
Quickly.
Right. Whereas women, they kind of hold on to it. You have people talking about something that happened 30 years ago. What are you talking about that for?
Yeah.
And men will take it on and move on and still be in pain. But they'll still move on because they'll
still be able to get something.
Because they'll be able to work through that pain while they're continuing
with their new partner. But women don't think that they are worthy of love while they're in pain.
Yeah.
It's a worthiness issue.
And it's just not true.
Yeah. Right.
So what I'm offering with Prepare to Be Pursued, just to put it all in perspective, because I know it's just like, but aren't you saying that we gotta get rid of it?
Yeah.
I don't believe at all that women have to get it all together and all this stuff before they're worthy of being married or something. I personally think that's insulting. Like, I feel like every woman that I have stood across or talked to, you are a wife if you want to be a wife. You just have to do some things differently. That's it. But the worthiness is there. It's there. So that is, but unfortunately for women has been told certain things in all this, it's going to take a little bit for her to believe it too. And so you just have to believe that and walk in that. That's the only thing that's really missing. But that takes time if a woman's been feeling like, no, I'm not worthy of this because of what I did or what I've been through and all this kind of stuff. So the worthiness is there. It's a technique issue. It's not so much of intrinsically within you. You're not marriage material, or you're just not
right. Nobody wants you.
Nobody wants you, and all this kind of stuff.
So but another thing I think, Nikki, that this challenge brings is the right community, right? And the right people around you. Because I think so often, so many single women are listening to a lot of negativity from other single women, right? And they are now thinking, oh, this isn't possible and this is not going to happen. Or they're all just grouchy out here, trying to find a happy man. Find a happy man when you being a bitch out here, like in these dating streets. That's not going to work. Maybe, getting out here into a different mindset with a different group of people who are excited. Maybe then they can have a different approach. You know what I mean? To what it is that they're doing. So I think community and having the right people around you who are actually in it with you and looking at it in a different way is helpful as well. So kudos to you and your challenge. That's great.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And all of the information about her challenge will be in our notes.
It'll be in our show notes. Yes.
So check below to get additional information and find out how you can reach out to her and find out about all the great things she's doing to help women find that fantastic relationship that they
Yep. Making room for Boaz, the 5-day challenge will be in our show notes, and also her link tree link will be in our show notes as well. So you guys can reach out to her and contact her. I mean, this has been amazing. Just
I've enjoyed it as well. Thank you both so much. Just want to encourage all the women that are watching that, it's not too late. It's not too late for you to have a new, fresh start. I know sometimes it will feel that way. I'm telling you, I talk to women every single day. I do this full time every day for 5 years straight. I've been working in this field for several years before that, but I want to encourage you that you're not alone. You're just not. The fears and the complaints and the disconnection you might feel, the unworthiness or the just loss of hope, really. You're not alone. And this is a journey that you don't have to do alone. If you know that God is kind of tugging you to explore how you can be partnered, then this is your invitation to begin to explore it. Okay. This is a path where you can start to figure those things out, because it's an important decision. So just want to encourage you on your journey.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I would just say to any woman that's listening that I hope there was some information here that you were able to gather to help you if you are in pursuit of a relationship, and give all of these ladies a lot more encouragement and excitement to know that there is hope and there are possibilities out there. They're out there. They really
no matter what age.
No matter what age, there are going to be challenges at every age. And your 20s, there's different challenges than there are when you're in your 50s, right? But there's still possibilities out there. There's still opportunities for you to find the person that you want to be matched with.
My previous pastor just got married a few months ago, and he's in his 80s.
Ooh.
See?
Amen.
And they had a beautiful wedding. He was a widower. He was a widower for years, and he had a beautiful wedding. Yeah, it's there.
Look at that.
It's
possible.
Look at that.
It's possible.
Amen.
Keep blooming, ladies.
Keep blooming, ladies.